Okay. I think that should have unbroken everything. I think that should be fine. Just got to make sure that everything is working just fine. Hello, folks. If you are just getting here now, how we doing? Yeah, this has been a bit of a wild last couple of minutes. So I've just come off an FM stream. Sorry. So I'm a little bit ahead all of this shop right now. I haven't seen anything relating to the retained list yet. I just know that it's come out. So what I'm going to do is I am going to whack open the Leeds United website and see what it says. I'm going to hide the comments for a minute just because I kind of want to read it myself first, if that's okay with you guys. So let's present the screen. Which screen is it? It's that one. There we go. Ah, that's so adventurous and wild and bright. Let's go back to normal size. 24-25 retained list. Here we go. Let's have a quick look. I'm going to scroll in a bit to have a look. So, the following player has triggered a 1-year extension clause within his contract. Sam Byram. That is completely fine by me. I have no issues with that. Sam Byram is really, really solid quality and depth. Don't mind that. We know that he is reasonable enough at doing what he does at championship level at the moment. Following players will be released when their contracts expire. Charlie Allen, understandable to be fair. Luke Ayling, also understandable. Lewis Bate. I wish he'd kicked on a little bit more at Leeds, but that's sort of to be expected. Keenan Carroll hasn't quite done what the hype was saying he would. Stuart Dallas we knew was retiring. That's fine. Cuba DeBow, Scott Gordon, Jan Paveda, we know. Van den Heuvel, I didn't know was out of contract this year. But that's fine. That makes me a bit sad. I quite like Van den Heuvel. The following players have been offered new contracts by the club. And we'll break down all the individuals a bit later. We'll look through the comments. We'll talk things through in a little bit more detail. I am back, indeed. I've broken my technical problems. Not broken my technical problems, fixed my technical problems. That's the opposite of what I was actually saying. Following players offered new contracts by the club. Harry Christie, youth goalkeeper, doesn't matter too much. Cody Drameh is interesting. It makes me think that maybe Farke has seen something in him over the last year or so, which I don't mind, to be fair. I think Cody Drameh's got a lot of potential in him. I think he could do a lot of growth. Whether or not he accepts, we will find out, but that's fine. Joseph Snowden, Luca Thomas, youth players. Also this, Danny Talk Sports. Smash a like and subscribe, that'd be massively appreciated. Thank you. Don't understand offering Cody a new deal. In my opinion, he's someone that very clearly has potential and hasn't worked out under previous managers at Leeds. It might be a case of Daniel Farke wanting to get a look. Plus, we need a right back. This makes that easy. The club's in talks with the following players about extending their contracts. Liam Cooper. I don't mind this. I feel like a lot of people might not be a fan of that. But I think he's someone that has played a lot in the Championship. He knows what it means to get out of the Championship. He won't necessarily get minutes, but he's cover. That's fine. Tuned in, background music, doing my head in, tuned out. You know, you could have just asked, right? You could have just... Oh, that was tough. Wow. Just, you... Come on. We're trying to be, like, nice in this channel. Anyway, Jamie Shackleton, also been offered a new deal. That's fine enough. Like, your squad doesn't just have to be first teamers. You need players that can go on the bench, and we know that Shackleton does a lot of running whenever he is asked. We know that Cooper is a wise head in the dressing room. It's all right. If he gets a deal, then he hands over the captaincy. I think I agree with that. You know what? Sod it. I've just seen what Danny said. Start poll. Do we want the nice vibesy music or nah? Let's do a poll. That's up to you guys. It's not my decision. The following players will return to their parent clubs following the conclusion of their loans. I'm going to do a very slow reveal on this one. And I know that you guys will have seen it before me, but you know what? It's a hype little reveal for me, and that's okay. Jadon Anthony. We knew this. Jadon Anthony has already said goodbye. That's fine. That was to be expected. Connor Roberts. Maybe a surprise. Joe Rodon. The following scholars have been offered a professional contract. Connor Douglas, Laporta White, Joseph Richards, Daniel Tolson, Mally Wilson. I don't know enough about those guys. And yeah, that's kind of that. Okay, so we'll say no to the music. Thank you for letting me know. That is appreciated. Unless you haven't voted yet, in which case, do a vote. That'd be very nice. So, let's cover that. Let's cover all the players that are covered under the retained list. Well, I say all the players, all the bigger shouts, and we will start with whoever you guys want to start with. I will make banners for all of the bigger shouts, I think, just because I think there's something to be talked about for a lot of these decisions. Jamie Shockley-Ton. Do we need to make one for Luke Ayling? I don't know. We will have a conversation on Cody Drameh, though. I'm absolutely certain. So, you guys basically shout about what you want to talk about, and we will talk about it, and that's completely fine by me. Everyone's talking about everything, but I've just seen a message from Pete who has said that Rodon is gone but is in talks. So let's talk Joe Rodon, shall we? Let's have a proper natter. As far as I can tell, Joe Rodon will be having that big old conversation with a hell of a lot of parties. So we found out earlier today that Joe Rodon had extended his deal at Spurs for a year. That is a complex one because he had a single year left on his deal, which meant that Spurs were in a drastically bad situation to negotiate from, which we know Daniel Levy would not want that. So he's managed to change it. He's managed to already have a clause in place that basically says, well, no, I'm in the position of power now. And that means that they don't necessarily need to get something done this summer. I didn't know that clause existed in the first place. But it means that Spurs now actually have a choice of doing something. They can do something that I saw suggested that I think could be a really good option for us, which is they can now, without risk, loan Rodon out to us for a season with an option to buy at the end of the season, which means that it's a lot more comfortable for them because it means that they're going to get a fee next season. It's more comfortable for us because it means that we have to pay a little bit less this season. I feel like a loan to buy is something that sort of works. It's rational. And whether or not that's how it ends up, we'll find out, I guess. And I hope it ends up in the most fun way possible, in which we end up signing Joe Rodon and he takes us to promotion next season. But whether or not that happens, we will have to find out. Also, I realised that I was having some snacks earlier. I didn't have all of them because I started streaming. But then I saw there was one left. I was like, haha, perfect. So just shout your opinions on the Joe Rodon thing, and I will happily discuss all of them. I do think it will end up as a loan to buy sort of thing because it adds up to me. Spurs did trigger the extension. If I misphrased that, that's my bad. Loan with option to buy is what I think would be the idea, because we know that a loan with a mandatory buy is something that screwed us over in the past, and we might not want to do all over again. Let's maybe not replicate John Kevin Augustin every few minutes because that could be a problem. I'm also in the spot of we do want to keep Rodon, but everyone seems to be of the opinion loan to buy is ideal for us. Loan to buy is good. It means that if we don't go up this season, we're protected. If we do go up, even better. Loan to buy if we go up, that would be my thought, but we'll see. Any price, just get him in. He's a rock. We need stability. Also works well with Ampadu. Yeah, that defensive pairing isn't one that we want splitting up, to be honest. It's one that we want to keep for an extended period of time. And if there is any risk at all of that being a problem, then we'll find out. List is out now, I see. The list is indeed out now, yeah. For a little bit of context for someone that's just joining now, I was doing a Football Manager stream before this, and I basically said, the moment that list drops, this stream ends, we're going somewhere else, because that retained list is a huge bit of news. And it definitely proved to be. However, I did have one intermediate stream in the middle, which had genuinely gained a nice number of likes before I'd even started it, and I then accidentally closed it because I'm real smooth like that. Things went incredibly well. Levy's a clever player, yeah. Financially, I would not want to try and have that argument against Daniel Levy, because that's not an argument we necessarily win. Because he is a big ol' smart cookie. We will be. There's no way that we're just looking at Joe Rodon and saying, that'll do. It's fine. I do think we are currently in talks with Joe Rodon, as far as I'm aware. But then again, that can always change. You never know 100%. Where can we see the full list? Just go to the Leeds United website. I will actually pop the list in the chat. Can someone click that and let me know if it's successful? Because if it's not, then I'm going to have to try and work out a different way of doing it. But that should work. If it doesn't work, Rodon said he doesn't want to start again with a new club, so it's promising. Obviously, talk's still ongoing. Yeah, for me, it feels like he either stays at Spurs and rots on the bench for another year, or he comes to Leeds, because he genuinely felt like he'd found a home when he was over here. It's good. It works. Fan dabby dozy. Brilliant. Yeah, I don't have a problem with the Rodon thing. The Joe Rodon move makes sense, in my opinion. It's something that we kind of need to do. If you haven't seen the retained list yet and you would like to, I've popped it in the chat. You can also type in the URL, but I feel like that could be a little bit difficult. I've pinned my message now, so if you're in the chat, you should be able to find it without a problem. So, just going to quickly deal with this one. He's not used Crosswell, so what's the point in the lad staying? The point in the lad staying is that that's not what this list is. This list is to discuss issues of the contracts that are expiring this year, and that includes loan contracts and permanent contracts. The case of Charlie Cresswell, his contract goes beyond the 30th of June this year. So Cresswell isn't part of this conversation. This isn't saying we are definitely keeping Charlie Cresswell because he could still leave as a sale. He could go out on loan. I don't know. But as a rule of thumb, this retained list, don't listen to it when it comes to the Cresswell conversation, because it doesn't apply to the Cresswell discussion at all. Hope that helps. We've just had a big old list of messages on the exact same topic, so I'm just going to flick through those very quickly. But before I do, if you haven't yet, just pop a like on the stream. That'd be appreciated. Or subscribe if you're not yet. It's like 2 clicks to do both of them. It's real easy. And it really helps the channel. That'd be massively appreciated. But we have a bunch of different comments on the same thing. I think Cresswell and Drameh are staying in case Rodon deal falls through. Surprised about Drameh, very shocked about Drameh. Earlier on, we had even more people that were shocked on the Cody Drameh thing. So let's talk about Cody Drameh. Cody Drameh's history at Leeds hasn't necessarily been fun. His Leeds United history has been a mix of really promising player to, oh no, things are going bad. And I don't know where on that spectrum we're sitting at the moment. I'm going to do a very quick search for Cody Drameh. Let's have a quick look at what he did last season. Yeah, having a look at last season, where he spent a significant amount of time on loan at Birmingham, who ended up getting relegated, which isn't fun, but by the looks of it, he wasn't too awful himself. Playing at Birmingham, which is a side that was deeply struggling, were bad at scoring goals, creating opportunities. He got more than average in terms of a number of assists for a fullback, which is weird. Really good with take-ons. So in the top 13% of plays for take-ons, top 4% of number of tackles, top 1% of blocks, 3% of clearances, and the rest is sort of average. The rest is sort of standard-ish numbers, nothing too wild. So if I'm applying the same logic as the Cooper Shackleton thing, I can see it making a bit of sense. Because looking at the squad right now, you probably think Archie Gray, we're going to want to play in midfield a bit more because he's a little bit more progressive than Glenn Kamara. And a lot of people's complaint this season has been, well, Kamara's not really good at progressing the ball. That's what Archie does really well. So I can see that potentially working out. And that means that we need another right back, regardless. Because if we go into the season and our only player that we're seeing as a right back is Sam Byram, who we signed and he played a lot of time on the left, we're going to feel terrible. So I can understand it if we're signing him as a squad player to just sort of build up things a little bit. Also, I got a really itchy eyeball, which is very, very fun. That apparently is a conversation that we need to be having right now. So I'm going to note down that name and we will get that in a couple of minutes. But the Drameh thing is either he left on a free or we can keep him and have a look. And someone made a very, very good point a minute ago of... Have I genuinely lost this comment? Because now I'm seeing why, when he has a significantly more busy chat than mine, Joe Wedman is always paying attention to his second monitor. Drameh was the Cardiff Player of the Year when he was on loan, so he has some ability. This is what I'm thinking. What I'm thinking is when he's used as an aggressive wingback in the same way that a Junior Firpo is, he does really well. He's thrived because that's what he was at Cardiff. He needed to be more defensive at Birmingham, but that's not his fault. That's the fact that Birmingham were in a really bad place time and time again. So I understand signing him as backup. If he is our first choice right back, I'm going to be a little bit more spooked. But I genuinely think that we're just retaining him as a squad player in this case. Didn't realise Cody was still on our books. Yeah, I was like that for a moment. But I think it's the amount of Football Manager that I play and the fact that on FM he's rated higher than I think he should be. And let's be honest, having a look at the retained list again, that doesn't even mean that he's like agreed to a contract. We've offered him a contract, and presumably that contract says you'll likely get these minutes. If he agrees to it, then he's not going to be that pissed off because he's just signed a new contract. It's okay. It's fine. Let's have a little bit more of a scroll through the comments, shall we? Drameh's always been good, had bad games at Leeds, never given it a chance again. There's a bit of this as well. A bit of the Leeds fan base is relentless when it comes to not forgiving players for what it deems to be like irreversible problems, and we're a little bit too fast to make snap judgments, which is something I would like us to fix as fans, but we'll see. You got game time to establish play, and if Farke does the same as he did with Cresswell, what's the point? I see what you're saying, but at the same time, at what point last season do you put Cresswell in the back four? At what point, when you've got Ampadu, Rodon, and they are just holding the positions down, having the most clean sheets in the league, at what point do you say, well, you see, we're on a winning run, but at the same time, how about we drop Joe Rodon for a week to make sure that Charlie's getting some minutes and he feels more good? Like you gotta think about it in like a technical way, and that's a spot where I'm like, I don't know at what point you'd do that. I thought he went to Birmingham. He did on loan. He's not agreed a permanent contract there yet, and I can see why. Because if it was in the Championship, I can see why he might have agreed to a permanent deal. But now they likely can't afford it. They will probably give him lower wages, and he will want a bit more of a chance at a Championship level club. There's also this. Yeah. If we offer Cody a contract and he doesn't take it, we can still get compensation from any new club he signs for because he came through our academy. As long as you offer him a contract, then he's still, I think, in the system and it counts as being poached, I think, technically, which means that they'd owe us compensation money, which is good because it's a little bit of money in and you're never going to complain about getting a little bit of money in as a football club. Yeah, Andrew, that's not what this is. This is about existing players. This isn't right. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a very quick bit entitled "Retained List." Also, if you haven't yet, is my button working? My button's working. Remember to like the stream and subscribe if you're not yet. Thank you. Oh, I love it. It's just like I love my little stream deck. It's got buttons that send automated messages. It's so good. Just joining now. Gosh, I do hope Drameh goes. Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit indifferent on him, to be honest with you. So, bit I'm going to dive into. What a retained list is. What it actually is, not what people are thinking it is. This is what all of this means. A retained list is specifically about the people that are at a football club already under contract. This isn't about anything to do with any players that we are signing in the future, because that's not what the list is. The list is, here are the players that are running out of contract, here's the players that we have offered a contract, here's what's happening with the players that we're releasing. So to make assumptions based on this that, well, obviously we're not signing XYZ players then, is daft, is incredibly silly, because that's not what the list is. So a little bit of patience. The transfer window isn't even open yet. It is in a week. We'll get there. It will be okay. Let's not have a panic over what isn't in this document, because it's not being covered in the slightest. Anyway, back to the bits and bobs themselves. I'm surprised that the club has offered Cody a contract with Farke willing to let him go on loan to Birmingham, as well Shax and Cooper in talks of potential new contracts. Yes. The interesting thing with the Cooper and the Shackleton thing, and we're going to do the Liam Cooper conversation, because I feel like the Liam Cooper conversation is going to be a fun one, because I already know that plenty of people in this chat have opinions on the Liam Cooper conversation. Thank you, Stevie. You timed that absolutely perfectly. Can't get my head around offering Cooper a contract. So, the basic thought in my head is all people have complained about this season is where's the leadership in the squad? And that's fair enough. That is a completely fair point. I understand that. If we were to go into next season and we've just released Liam Cooper, the fact that it's the same people asking why we've offered him a new contract and saying we don't have any leadership is bizarre to me, because that's what Liam Cooper's offering right now. The amount of times we've had people behind the scenes saying, well, okay, but Ayling and Dallas and Cooper have been really helpful to me because they've been offering advice on this, that, and the other, is mind-blowing, because we know that he's very clearly having a decent impact still at the squad. In my opinion, he's a fine squad player. That's what he's going to be. He's not an automatic choice. No, he's not going to get into that first team, in my opinion. He's effectively going to be backroom supporting stuff. Where's the risk in keeping him? And this message from Stevie, he's destroying Cresswell's career. Is he? Because I don't see it. Because the way that almost every manager nowadays works is they have left centre-backs and right centre-backs. It's not just a big pile of players that go at centre-back. Because that's not how people work. Because you want to play into the passing lanes with the foot that's most appropriate for you, so you'll put right footers on the right, left footers on the left, and that'll do. Brilliant. Perfect. Look at the list of right centre-backs at the moment. Rodon, Cresswell. And so would you pick him over Joe Rodon, any of those wings? And you look at left centre-back, you're going Ampadu, Strout, Cooper. So arguably you're also saying that, well, having Ethan Ampadu be able to play as a centre-back is destroying Cresswell's career. If Cresswell is good enough, he'll get into the 11. But we're in a position where I don't know if we can afford to take liberties and give out minutes because, well, it might be important at the end of the season. Because what happens if we do what we did against... Who was it we played stupidly early in the season and we played like a massively rotated 11? It might have been West Brom. So what happens when we come up against West Brom and we're saying, well, we've put in Cresswell because he needs minutes, and we've put in Cody Drameh at right back, and then West Brom's left winger scores 3 goals. And then we don't get promoted by a single point. Like, these are things that you need to sort of be very, very careful with, because he's not destroying Cresswell's career, because he's not competing with Cresswell for that position. He's not even Cresswell's competition. But he wouldn't, because it's a different position. It's weird. I don't know. I do think a loan would be good for him. A loan makes sure that he gets those minutes. But the anger that's been pointed in Liam Cooper's direction for Cresswell not forcing his way into the team is bizarre. I don't get it. I'll be honest with you. Cooper must have kicked some people's dogs, judging by some of the comments. Yeah. Because you need to think about the stuff that Liam Cooper has done for the side. He's been here for a decade. He's gotten the side promoted under his captaincy. He's done playoff disappointment already. First season in the Premier League was incredible, and he was the captain during that. Yes, we then proceeded to get relegated. But how often was he starting in those matches? And then he's done a behind-the-scenes leadership role to help push us to the playoffs last season, where for the entirety of August, we didn't know who was going to be in the squad. Like, the anger that's pointed at him because he makes a few mistakes is wild, and I don't understand where it's come from. And currently people are angry at the fact that he is in talks to have a contract extension. Not that he's going to be getting minutes, not that he is getting minutes ahead of Cresswell, but the fact that there are conversations about him potentially staying at the football club. And that is a little bit wild to me. And he might not even stay. So let's take a breath. Let's soothe, vibe. It'll be fine. Cooper will be for the dressing room. I think this is what I agree with. Makes a lot of sense because he's a big leadership figure in there. He can be a hand on the shoulder of, let's be honest, both of our centre-backs, they're not the oldest. Joe Rodon is 25. Yeah, old-ish. Bit of experience underneath him. Ethan Ampadu, 22. If you're going into a season and you're one actual senior centre-back that has had many, many seasons of playing football leaves, then your oldest, most experienced head in that back four becomes Joe Rodon at the age of 25, which feels like a risk. But that's fine. More angry at Nonto's hasty fit early on than Cooper. I think still that was more of an agent thing. And I'm not going to be that mad if he leaves this summer, to be honest with you. Like, he's probably deserved that. Scored important goals. He has, I think. Harrison and Rock are back out on loan. Got to get rid of the other rats before June the 30th. Is it before June the 30th? I know the window opens in a week, but I think we're fine on FFP. I don't think that's going to be a significant worry, to be completely honest with you. You can't blame Coops for Cresswell not getting game time. That's on Charlie and Farke. Yeah, I mean, if Charlie is... Because, again, I've said this a few times in the past. We're not looking at training. We don't know the sort of performances that Charlie Cresswell is putting in. Daniel Farke is. So he has a better understanding of whether or not he has earned a place in that starting 11 than we do. So I'm not too mad. Yeah, I don't think he plays that much, to be honest with you. I think he basically becomes a spare rotation option. And also, people are complaining that he's going to be playing a lot of football. He got a total of 706 minutes this season. He played less football than Luke Ayling, who left in January. Like, it's not much to complain about, to be honest with you. Joe Rodon isn't our player, though. Yeah, and that's fine. That's okay. But I don't know what you're meaning by that, because last season he was our player. And last season, if Joe Rodon is out playing Charlie Cresswell in training, why are you going to pick Cresswell when that could lead to you dropping more points? Why offer a contract to someone third choice? I would like to refer you to our second season in the Premier League. In a dark, cold winter month, where we were playing against, I believe, Arsenal. I'm going to have to find this now, aren't I? Let's find the match report and see if that is the match that I'm thinking about. Yeah, there we go. Right, okay. So, this match is my ultimate argument for why I think it is probably always good to make sure that your squad is as deep as you can be. Basically, whoever isn't playing is the reason we aren't winning games, and we should play them. We should play Cresswell over Cooper, who plays on the left, and Charlie plays a right centre back. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. It's a different position. They're not in the same conversation. It's fine. Groin Return were asked who they'd least like to be locked in a lift with, both immediately said Cresswell. It speaks volumes. That's quite nice. It was Mitchell, and I'm about to dive into that. This was our squad for that game, right? Melier in net. That's okay. That's fine. Good start. Cock at centre back, fairly normal. Luke Ayling. Cody Drameh at right back. Stuart Dallas at left back. Not actually strictly a left back, but that's fine. That's the wrong button. Adam Forshaw had to play in midfield. Remember him? Always injured. Alongside Klitsch. That's fine. That's normal enough. And our front line is not good. Tyler Roberts played at 10. Jack Harrison played on the left wing. Rafinha on the right. That's fine. Joffrey played as centre forward. Joe Gelhardt, who I would like to note at this point in time, was the third choice striker. That's why you offer contracts to players that are third choice, because sometimes Rodrigo and Bamford are injured. Shit happens. The bench, as well, dreadful. Christopher Claassen, Lewis Bate, Crescencio Somerville, before Crescencio Somerville was good, obviously. Sam Greenwood, who at this point had played like once, twice, maybe. Liam McCarron, Jack Jenkins, Chris Moore, Noam Kenne, and Archie Gray, who had to appear on the bench at the age of 15 because we didn't have enough players under contract. This is why we offer contracts to people that are squad depth, so you don't end up having to put 15 and 16-year-olds on your bench. Gives you a little bit more security, a little bit more safety, and it's fine. Cresswell and Joffrey have signed new for, again, different position. Left centre-back versus right centre-back. Come on. I've signed new 4-year contracts last season. What about the situation? Are they to be sold or loaned? I can see why Leeds are offering Shax a new contract due to his adaptability. Yeah, Shax is very adaptable, can play all over the pitch. His stamina is genuinely a little bit terrifying. Very glad that we're offering Shax a new contract. I don't know. My guess is if we were going to get promoted, we were probably not going to offer him a new contract because I will agree, probably not quite good enough as a Premier League centre-back. But we're not in the Premier League. We're in the Championship. Very different division. Very weird take. Not entirely sure I'd agree on that one. Considering we're really weak in midfield anyway. Okay, oof, Mitchell. Oof. Let's have a little bit of a scroll. Let's get to the bottom. So I don't know the player who played now. I wouldn't say the midfield is bad. I would say the midfield is lacking depth. Have a quick, proper look at the squad. Next season. Cool. Right. Let's organise it by that. Right. So, midfield is sometimes Joel Piroux. Gruev. It was sometimes Greenwood. It was JB once. Technically Charlie Crew. It can be Ampadu. It can be Gray, but they all play in defence. Glenn Kamara, and I've already got Ilya Grove. So that is the extent of our midfield sitch. That's the midfielders. Piroux isn't a midfielder. Let's be honest here. Sam Greenwood will probably not be here. Which leaves us with this. Ethan Ampadu has been playing at centre-back. He's off the list. Archie Gray has been playing primarily at right-back. That's him off the list. That leaves you with Kamara, Gruev, JB, and Crew. Now, I'm not sure about... I don't know about you. But when you have in your squad 4 midfielders that are able to play, 4, and one of them is Charlie Crew, who's never played a minute, and the other is Darko JB, who you sent out on loan incredibly early in the season, why would you be taking these 2 away? Why would you consider selling these players? Because all you're doing is you're making the summer harder for yourself. All you are doing is saying, you know what we need to do, lads? What we need to do is we need to sell another player. And I know we need 2 or 3 midfielders, but why don't we make that 3 or 4? And it's like, well, the reason we don't do that is A, FFP stuff. B, it's hard enough to get a transfer done a lot of the time. The amount of conversations that go on behind the scenes to get these deals done is huge. So why would you try and make that tougher for yourself? I don't know. It's weird. Quick dive back into the comments. We need to go out and get Gabriel Sara is something that you can tell has come from someone that watches my Football Manager streams. Because in season 2 of my first Football Manager series, I signed Gabriel Sara, and he was absolutely spectacular, which is good. And I think he will continue to be absolutely spectacular for the rest of his career, and I would quite like us to sign him. I'll be completely honest with you. Be a very, very nice, very, very clever thing to do, which hopefully works out. No, that's not. That's horrible for squad depth. I would very much not want us to lose one of our 2 holding midfielders, especially when Ampadu plays the majority of his time at centre-back. It feels a bit daft. Stevie, I want to know how you got to the number 10. That's a big number. 10 is huge. 10 is wild. That's a lot of players that you want to just sort of like out the window, which I feel is excessive. But there is another player that I think we can have a bit of a conversation about, and it's Jamie Shackleton. What sort of role do you guys think Jamie Shackleton gets to play next season? Because I think in theory, Jamie Shackleton is going to be huge for us at the moment. I think Shax is admittedly not going to start games of football. But I feel like when it comes to players that are able to be rotational and are able to just sprint for entire matches, I think he's what we need in terms of cover. I'm seeing a lot of folks saying that they expect him to be on the bench a lot of the time, and I do agree. I do think Shackleton will be a big benchy boy for a lot of the season. But at the same time, this is where I land on him. Be used as a utility player. Thank you, the Orange Raider. When it comes to Shax, he's a bit Stuart Dallas-y. Because when it came to Dallas and you saw him on the team sheet under Bielsa, you'd be like, well, I don't know if we're using him as a right back, a left back, a central midfielder, a right winger, a left winger. He could go absolutely anywhere. And I feel like Shackleton falls into that. I feel like, yeah, if Shax's feet can do a job off the bench. Because we seem to weirdly be in a spot where... How do I phrase this? I don't know. I've completely lost that sentence, which is fun. Right. This is a weird one. This is what distracted me from my previous train of thought that I kind of want to jump into, and I kind of want to get everyone's opinion on. 8, 9, and 10 needed. I'm gonna do this in the form of a poll. Do we need to sign a 9? Because I think I know which direction people are going to go, but I think I know why I disagree. Leeds could save wages and use to get better players in. It depends on how tight we are on the wage budget, to be honest with you. Like, Coops and Shackleton are not going to be earning that much compared to the rest of the squad. So I don't know. Shax never complains. On low wages in comparison, will happily sit on the bench. Yeah, you also need people that will help the vibe at the club. If you replace everyone at the club instantly, bad. Very bad. Not good. It means you've got basically a squad morale and structure that relies on hopefully they get on with each other. And if those players don't like being on the bench, tough shit, 9 of you have to be every single game. I know you love Nelson. I don't know if this is the time for Nelson. Yeah, I'm not saying he's the same level of player as Stuart Dallas. I'm saying he's the same sort of form of player. He's the same versatility kind of thing. Bench, centre back, right back, left back, number 10. I'll be honest with you, I don't mind it. I'm fine with it. Right, Stevie. This is the point I was looking forward to making. Before I get into that, I will be one moment. Patrick Bamford had our third highest level of goals per 90 in the Championship last season, only 0.01 behind Crescencio Somerville, with Luis Sinisterra in first place, who I'm sure we all want to remember is not someone that we like very much. Let's have a very quick scroll down to the shooting statistics, shall we? No, wait, that's the match log. I've done the wrong thing. Very smooth. That is zoomed out way further than that should be. Let's go to shooting stats and zoom on in. Many people's issues with Patrick Bamford was that you can't take a shot on target. Our highest shot accuracy for a forward, ahead of Joel Piroux, who is reportedly a more clinical finisher, ahead of Crescencio Somerville, who scored 19, ahead of Dan James. Your issue is he didn't play much before Christmas. When Patrick Bamford wasn't in the side, we looked worse. That's a fact. You've brought out the stats, bitch. This is on you. Similar front is 82% of you have said that we need to sign a number 9, which I'm going to make its own little bit of conversation. The issue with that is if we go to just forwards, if we're saying Mateo Joseph needs more minutes and we need to sign another 9, well, these are the players that have played at number 9 this season. Yeah, okay, fine. A lot of you have been saying, let's get rid of Pat. Pat's not in the equation anymore. Fine. He's still got competition from Piroux and Rutter. And now, if we're saying we do sign another number 9, in this case, I'll do Sonny Perkins as an example. Brilliant. You've put him back to the back of the queue. If people are wanting Mateo Joseph to play more football, we can't go signing a number 9 because then we're going to immediately jump into the problem that everyone's screaming about Charlie Cresswell because Charlie Cresswell isn't playing enough football. Well, at the same time, Mateo Joseph isn't, and you want to sign someone who can play instead of him. I'm confused. I don't understand. Weird conversation. Return minus 6.3. Is XG versus goals? Yeah, Return's finishing isn't good. I have never argued that his finishing is good because I'll be honest, it's not. It's always not. But then again, you can't really complain at 0.4 assists per 90. Firpo, by the way, 0.35 assists per 90. Oh god, I wonder if you guys want us to sell Firpo as well. I agree Ritter's not a 9, but he spent a significant portion of the season playing there. It's not me that put him there. But basically, yeah, I don't think we need to sign another number 9. Maybe if we lose Pat, maybe then. But with the squad as it is, start Joseph, Piroux behind, and then, I don't know, maybe a youth option, something like that. But not a starting number 9. Who said Firpo was a winger? No one said Firpo was a winger. Nice. I like that. Mitchell spitting absolute bars. I've just realised, where's Slink? Oh, that's a shame. But there's another little bit of conversation that I'm surprised that we've not had. No one said someone's name for a significant amount of time. And I would kind of like to have a quick look. Where's 51 chances for return? Or was that chances created? I don't know. Holy, Georgie had 122 shots. Okay. Sorry, I am just skimming through this. How about shot creating actions? Oh, okay, we had a lot of shot creating actions for lots of people. Anyway, sorry, the comments have done us stupid again. Are we... This one's a joke, isn't it? Because Firpo was one of our best players in the second half of that season. Firpo was genuinely very, very good. And to say that you'd want to sell him is just mind-blowing. Yeah, if Rote could shoot, he'd be a £60 million player. But he can't, so he is where he is at the moment. But that's fine. That's normal. Everyone's got their weaknesses. Georgie's is shots. Be interesting to see his dribbling stats. I can try and find them. Carries. There we go. His carry distance wasn't that huge. Okay, it was kind of huge. Basically, centre backs have huge carry distances because they pass it between themselves. But in terms of progressive carries, he was our equal second best, level with Dan James and 76 behind Somerville. Better on the wing. I think I'd agree on that one. Popping Georgie out on the wing this season would be really fun. Because the way that he works is he sort of draws defenders out of position. So doing that would be very, very, very nice. Hang on. Let's go per 90 for that one, shall we? Because I didn't know that that was a statistic I could look at. Right. So goals against when on the pitch is apparently a statistic that you can look for. Only works in some instances because you need someone to have plenty of minutes. So, for example, Sonny Perkins was on the pitch for a total of 1 minute and we didn't have any goals against. So his on the pitch goals against are 0, which is fine. When you think about who's played at left back this season, you think Firpo, you think Byram. Goals permitted per 90 when they're on the pitch. Junior Firpo 0.91, Sam Byram 1.16. Defensively, we are worse with Sam Byram than we are with Junior Firpo. This one I kind of get, but I think that's more the transformation of football in general than who Junior Firpo is. So not only are we permitting fewer goals with Junior Firpo on the pitch, he's also creating more chances. His chance creation is spectacular. Like, assists per 90 is, I think, Ruter-ish in terms of numbers. Yeah, he's 0.04 behind Ruter. Dan James, who we thought was an assist machine for chunks of the season, 0.25 per match. Firpo 0.35. Happy about Barham and Coops. We need some experienced heads in the squad. This is my take, basically. The more experience and leadership that you've got throughout the squad makes sense. Yeah, it's fine. How many times did Somerville have to cut inside when Firpo mid runs out wide? But that's not him having to. That's him choosing to. If he's got the run on the outside because we know Firpo does the overlapping stuff, play the ball. But looking back on the season, it's a lot easier to realise that a lot of what Crescencio Somerville did was be a little bit greedy. And that was really good for his numbers. And early in the season, it was really good for our numbers. Okay, cool. I might have misread you. That might be on me. But, like, when Somerville is just sort of holding it up and pretending a bit and trying to get a shot off, needed to use Firpo more. We're at the point where you can just say you don't know ball. That's fine. That's okay. But if you're telling me that one of the highest levels of assists for any fullback in the division is bad? Yeah, top percentile for assists and expected assists. Combined XG and expected assists, top 3%. Passes attempted, top 10%. Top 3% in touches. Top 12% in progressive passes. Top 7% in tackles and top 3% in aerials won. But that's fine. That's Firpo being bad. Firpo is a bad player because this being in comparison to all other fullbacks is awful. Green is good, by the way. I don't know. But that's not what we're having the conversation about. We're going retained list. Love you guys, but wow, you don't know football. Honestly, okay. Sure. Whatever you say. Whatever you say. Also, admittedly, yes. I don't think anyone that's been around my streams has ever seen me deny this. I am a self-professed moron. And I'm proud of it. What do you think about Drameh? Are we holding up for compensation? Do you think Foxy's promising him? I will pull out the dissertation. I'll do it again. For this one, I feel like offering him the contract makes sense because it means that, as you mentioned, the compensation thing can happen. We don't get compensation if we don't offer that deal. It gives him some options. So if there aren't any moves that he wants, then he doesn't have to accept them. He has a little bit more security and can just decide, okay, I'll stick around at Leeds. And I genuinely think that there is a really good player in there. Yeah. It's a fun one, isn't it? Oh, Stevie, I'm so sorry. All I'm going to say is in exactly 4 weeks, you might not want to dip into the channel. It's your, not your, and it's Byron, not Byron, and we are the ones that don't know what we are saying. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Evie, being literate is a high thing to have to jump over, especially when you're watching one of my streams, which means that clearly something's going wrong in the first place. But yeah. Ipswich and Leicester had firepower. Ipswich had Hurst, Moore, Hutchinson, Broadhead, Burns, Chaplin, Al-Hamidi, and Sarmiento. Leicester had Daka, Vardy, Iheanacho, and Cannon. We relied on Bamford and Piru. No, we didn't, because if we're following the same argument here, let's go to Championship players for last season. Player stats for shooting. Yeah, if we're going down the avenue of players that scored lots, okay, so let's add Dan James to the list. Remember that Leicester hated Patson Daka quite a lot. We had a higher scorer than any Leicester or Ipswich players in the form of Crescencio Somerville, who got himself 19. Let's have a look down even further. James got himself 13. Piru got himself 13. Bamford got himself 8, which is more than quite a few of those players. Nonto got himself 8. I think to pretend that our squad last season was really bad is to do them a big ol' injustice, because that's not the case. We actually relied on our wingers far more, to be fair, than our strikers. Yeah, if you're just looking at players that play up the centre, fair enough. But that's not the way that we play, because we use width quite a lot. We've moved away from the Jesse Marshiness into a world of actually, oh my god, there are wings and we're allowed to use them. Which is a nice little treat that we can do sometimes. How are we keeping Drameh? I don't know. The only reason we're keeping Coops is we're so late at centre back because Rodon isn't coming. I will sign a centre back. I'm convinced that we sign a centre back. The Drameh thing is, it could be a lot of stuff. It could be the fact that there's a bit of potential in there because there is. But also, if he signs a new deal with another club and we've not offered him a contract, we don't get any compensation money from it. Because it's designed to sort of make sure that young players are able to stay in the system. So clubs are incentivized to offer people contracts, which is good. I think we need two up top this season. Won't be defending much. What formation are we saying, though? Because 4-4-2 is very, very risky and doesn't really suit the way we play or the squad we play with. This isn't the case. It's not a thing. We got dollar. I mean, we just signed, I'm going to do the quote, the most lucrative commercial deal in EFL history, which says that we might be okay, to be honest. The Cody one is the compensation thing. The Cooper one is leadership behind the scenes, and Shackleton is he offers a lot of versatility. They all make sense. I know I can read, I just hadn't gotten there yet. Okay, but that's putting even more pressure on the centre backs. And you're getting a little bit less creativity out of the midfield. It can work, but be interesting to see how heat map for attacking possession might be the opposite of Marsh, all on the wing, rally through the centre. The only chance that springs to mind is the Nonto carrying goal against Millwall. I'm having to overthink now. There was a lot of transitional stuff that we did. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind us using a bit of width. Width is fun. Width is good. Let's keep using it. Thank you very much, Will Smith. I do hope you've not been punching Chris Rock recently for becoming a member of the channel. As always, I'm just going to do a bit of shilling for a second. All that revenue is going to Prostate Cancer UK for, at the very least, until I do my charity walk in August, which is now 2 months away. Oh, no. And yeah, if anyone has a couple of quid lying around a month, that'd be massively appreciated. Thank you very much. In truth, we not got a clue what the squad's going to be for the first game. If the top players leave, totally different ballgame. Yeah, that's fair. It's hard to know exactly what the squad's going to look like, so it's going to take a little bit of time. Leeds are an EFL meeting today, so vote to be able to spend more so we have money. Yeah, I mean, we've undoubtedly we have the cash. It's just within the regulations what can happen. Because you need to think we will also likely be selling Somerville, which is whatever his money's going to be. We are also likely selling Nonto, so it's going to be whatever his fee's going to be. With the Rebel investment, why are we not looking to spend that money, for example, and use some of that money to buy Rodon? We might be. That's the thing. It might be happening behind the scenes, but at the same time, we're still trying to work within profit and sustainability stuff. So it's a different question. John, you mean Girth, I think. You disagree will have clout. Why spend when you can solve internally, be much more balanced and have much more depth? Also, this is likely the more affordable option. Like, even if we do have financial clout, we might as well solve the bigger problems by investing more money on it. It's going to cost more to buy a new centre-back than retain Liam Cooper. So it's a bit... Am I worried? No, not really. The teams that... I've still got cat hair on me from the FM stream. The teams that came down from the Premier League were not very good. The teams that went up were very good. And it depends on what happens over the summer, but I'm feeling all right, basically. Yes, literally every single Monday. With this one, I think we'll be all right. because we've got a lot more time with the actual owners at the club. So having the 49ers in place already means that we're not waiting until the start of August for Rodon to piss off, which means that it's not all outgoings right now. We'll be able to actually get some players in once the window opens, which will be a very, very, very nice change from the hellscape that was last time. Yeah, the August was really bad. August was unpleasant. And the fact of the matter is, now we can actually do something about it. We don't have to go through that same August again because hopefully, ideally, we can get all our ducks in a row a little bit earlier. At least that's what things are sort of adding up to look like. If we lose Ampadu, Archie, Retire, Willie, Somerville, it's a nightmare. It would be, but that is a big ol' exaggeration of a worst-case scenario. Somerville, probably gone. Nonto, probably gone. Retire said in a post that he will see us soon, unless you can't really read too much into that because there might be bids coming in. It would take a big bid for us to shift Retire on. Ampadu, can't see him leaving. Archie, cannot see him leaving. It would take obscene amounts of cash for someone to get Archie out, or Archie forcing the move. I don't know whether that's going to happen or not. Dr. Cox, I might be taking that at face value just because it's funnier. Fine enough, basically. Fine enough for the championship. Does a job. He's not the best keeper in the world, but you have to remember we're in the championship, and attracting players at this level is not easy at all. Club should play hardball and hold out for 40 million plus offer for Cree and at least 30 for Nonto with selling fees attached. Anything less than... No, I think you've gone, at the very least, like 15 million too high on Cree. Maybe 12 on Nonto. Because you've got to remember we are still in the championship, and selling championship players is tough. The total amount of TV revenue for the entire season in the EFL is 4 million quid. Not 4, 8 million quid. At least last time I checked. So selling Somerville for 5 times that feels unlikely. But who knows? Absolutely this, Tom. I feel like we might be okay. Be fine. I guarantee you wouldn't, Stevie. Feels like the right sort of ballpark for Nonto. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this stream relatively soonish. Because it's been nice. It's been nice having a bit of a natter. This feels like the right kind of numbers. I think you will. Maybe a little bit lower, but I'm not 100% sure. But if anyone has any questions, anything that they want to shout at me, do so now or forever hold your peace. I say forever. I'm going to be streaming at 8, I think, with a special guest who, if is still here, I am popping together a thumbnail now, and I might need a thumbnail-y face, but I think I've got one, so it should be fine. Thank you, Degenerate Yellow. On point, as always. Our current cup run is still on. Let's hold Lavia for 62 million to Chelsea and Livramento to Newcastle for 62 last season as Championship clubs, so at least can sell high. You're relying on Chelsea being dipshits in that case, though. And now they've hit the FFP limits. Does Charlie Crew break out next season? I think he makes a few appearances, but not too much. Sam Rodon tweet now makes no sense. I think it still does. I think there's still going to be conversations behind the scenes. But I don't know whether or not we'll be able to complete that. Willie will want a move. He needs it for his Italian chance. Yeah, Willie, I think, will be pushing for an exit. But I can't blame him. He gave us another year. He played pretty well. Absolutely agree on this one. I'm genuinely fine. I like having these conversations. I just need to eat. I've been streaming for the last like 3 hours, so getting some food in me would be very, very nice. Let's shrinky dink that down because I need to fit those words onto one thing. Bosh, bish, bash, boom, bing bong. That's as far as I go with a Donald Trump impression. Thank you very much. Cool. Thumbnail half sorted. That's fine. Create will be a bidding war with a number of clubs interested, so Leeds can set a high price. That'd be very nice. I'd like a bidding war. Bidding wars are fun. Archie won't leave. Agreed completely. Money talks, yes, but there needs to be enough money. It's a panini. That's the thing. I'm really looking forward to it. Archie will become a Leeds legend. It's hard to become a club legend now, purely because there's a lot of clubs, and it gets significantly easier to leave clubs. So hopefully it's fine, but we'll have to find out. I think we'll see some adaptation. I don't see it being exactly the same as last season because there are lessons to be learned. Also, important question, big question, huge question. It's not that big. Have you liked the stream? If not, please like the stream. Have you enjoyed the stream other than that? Please subscribe. That's massively appreciated. Or even become a channel member, just because that's really, really, really good for Prostate Cancer UK, which is really nice. Hope you enjoyed. I will be back in like 2 hours and 40 minutes-ish, depending on stuff like dog walking, I believe. Hope you enjoyed anyway, and I will see you later. This is the part where normally I like say something after I finish recording. I don't know what to say. Ta-ra.